Today has been particularly difficult and you've been really helpful, even up to now, like holding me up. And the reassurances have been really helpful. I know that it helps also for me to reassure, but the amount of times that you catch something that I don't even notice is an anxious thought. Cycling through what if thoughts earlier, and you were just like, most what if thoughts are intrusive, and I was just like, oh yeah. I don't have to like think about that scenario. I can just cut it off and distract. It's been really helpful. Today, my brain has been like so focused on every piece of stress. It's like the lens of how it's me doing something wrong that's caused it has just been stuck on today. And every single thing that's difficult has been seen through that lens. My brain has been like pattern registering to try and find where I've done something wrong. And although I'm aware of it doing it, and although I'm aware of why it does it, because in childhood it was protective to think like that, so it makes sense that the brain does it because it's more predictable to be like, oh, if it's my fault, I can control it, or I could predict it, or I could stop it. So the brain like personalizes so that the caregiver's not at fault, basically, when the caregiver is at fault. But it makes sense. I get why it does it, and I get what it's doing. But it's still been so hard to like step away from. It's just been doing it consistently, and I've been catching and reassuring for everyone that it like goes off on, finding counter evidence in being like, look at this action I did that was good. It was good in this way. It could have been bad in these ways, but instead I did this. Like, that was a good choice. I've basically been countering like that. It's exhausting, but I do think it's starting to make a difference, and things are starting to get easier to engage with without feeling so totally drained, because I know it's going to be like that. It seems like you've had less panic attacks today than yesterday. High bar, I know. It is a high bar. Yeah, it's been a little better. I think management. What have you been doing that's working well? I think management strategies help. And I think like working out what to do in which situation is helping. It's like breathing helps no matter what, but reassuring with counter evidence. If I do that a couple of times and I find that the thoughts are just kind of continuing to spiral, then I'm like, all right, let's try something else. Let's try grounding through the senses and just stepping away from thought entirely. So I think what's helping is going, let's try this a bit. If it works, cool. If it doesn't work, then I'm like, okay, that's not working. Let's try something else, instead of just going through the whole day like that. Learning to apply the different tools in different situations, basically. I feel like an interviewer. And what are you going to do with your powers? Use them for evil, of course. It's really helpful though, actually, because sometimes I can't. It's hard for me to structure what I'm thinking because I have the information but not like the parameters. But if you can see those, I don't imagine I can see all of it, but I guess I don't know. What makes you think you can't? Because I only get one thought that's a bit like a header across the top of the page, and if it's different to what you're saying, I might bring it up because it seems connected. That's cool. But I don't always get it. And I don't get a series of them, but when you talk about how your thoughts race. Well, the racing thoughts generally feel a little bit distant, or that I don't know if distance is the right word, but they feel a bit I don't know, less involved than things I'm manually thinking. Well, sometimes I don't exactly hear the thoughts, but I know you're getting them because there's kind of a rushing sound and sensation coming from where you are, and you're a bit stressed seeming, I guess. But I don't hear a sentence of words like when I do when you're actually thinking something. Yeah. Yeah. So if I like manually think something, you always hear it? Yeah. Why did you check with a really specific sentence as if it's telepathy you're trying to disprove? Just to make sure that you really were hearing that line. That's cool. I would like to. The other day, that was really cool when I was trying to do the like meditation thing. I was visualizing myself stepping back instead of being sucked into the different thoughts racing. I could visualize myself stepping back from them, and then it was like a current in the air or something just going past in front of me, and if one would snag me, I'd notice after a few seconds I'd be able to step away again. But then when you like pulled me away, the fact that you could do that and like use visualization or interact in the inner world, I was occasionally just grabbing your shoulder and pulling you back into the sofa if you tensed up. That was really helpful. I could see it like this current of thoughts going past me, and if I was sucked into one and I didn't notice, sometimes I'd come out and because you just pulled me back, and that was really helpful. I like this. This is helpful. Interesting was what I was going to go for. Why did you change it? Because interesting doesn't sound as considerate or empathic as helpful. The tone of which, or the effects at least, you've very much ruined with this. I was going to say, being honest about why you did something in such a specific way, I think the word is calculated, it really removes the impact that it might have had. I have no intention of lying to you. Thanks. It is. I mean, I'm sure it's helpful as well, but it is interesting working out what we can do and how we can impact each other in these mental tools, things that people can use, mindfulness, but how they interact, how we can interact with them as a system. I find that interesting. You still have time and everything, but you actually might want to leave now. I do.